What's up guys, I'm Jonathan, Duke Does Amazon, and we have a very important video for today. When you have products in stock that are not selling or not selling at a price point that you are happy with, you basically have two options. A, lower the price, get sales, get your money back, keep it moving, break even, take a small profit, take a small loss. Or B, hold out in hopes that it's going to sell in the near future for a price that you were more thinking it would. Now I have to do this in real time today. So this is a regular occurrence in my Amazon business, whether it be weekly, bi-weekly, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna show you step by step on my computer with real examples how I determine, do I drop the price, sell these for less than I'd like, or do I hold off on my pricing and keep it as is? And before I show you the examples and take you step by step, I just really want to hammer home a message. When it comes to pricing on Amazon, same way that when it comes to purchasing decisions for Amazon, for me, there is no emotion. It is strictly data. So if that means I bought something last month and it was selling for a certain price and things have changed, I'm not gonna hold on to that price out of principle. What does that do? That's just hoping and wishing. Now it doesn't mean that couldn't happen, but if the data doesn't indicate that it will, then I let it go and move on to the other million products available to sell on Amazon. It's not principle, it's not emotion, it's not hoping, it's not wishing, it's data. Oh, and one last thing before we hop in. I and all other Amazon sellers that are doing volume sell products all the time for a small profit, for a break even, or even a loss. The reason for this is, let's say you're selling 1,000 products and 50 of them aren't selling well or not where you hoped or things changed. I would rather get that money back and put it towards the millions of profitable items that are out there in the world rather than tie up my money on products that I don't think are going to change anytime soon. Alrighty, so I got the computer open in front of me. I have Amazon Seller Central open and Inventory Lab. The reason for Inventory Lab is because that's how I like to get a real quick snapshot, and then I can access Keepa from that, which is where we'll ultimately need to be as well. Also, naturally, I'm not going to share with you the specifics of my products, and I'm also not going to compromise my account name. So I'll show you as much as I can and walk you through it. Into the computer, what you're going to do is hover over Inventory Lab and then click on Manage Inventory, okay? And from here, what I find is that Amazon typically has it arranged by, oh, and I have the box selected all. So active, inactive, everything, just all is selected, okay? And so now I typically find that Amazon has it sorted usually with the least amount of quantity to the most. And so what I like to do is reverse that. I want to look at the products that I have the most of in stock, because to me, naturally, that makes logical sense. If I have 100 of this products that aren't selling versus 5 of a products not selling, I much more want to address the item with 100 in stock, because that's tying up more capital, etc. So that's the more pressing issue. So what you can do, there's actually this button that says available. And so you click on that once, and that actually reverses it. So now the item that I have the most of in stock is the one I'm seeing here very much at the top. And so from here, what I'm gonna do is go through the list. Like the first item, I know it's regularly selling. Second item, selling. Third, selling. Fourth, selling. Fifth, etc. Then I get to one where I say, oh wow, okay, this one, I don't think I've sold one of these. And I remember vividly buying these thinking I hit a home run. So how can I dive in deeper? Because again, I haven't sold one of these. So what I'm gonna do is copy the ASIN. And now I'm gonna go into Inventory Lab. And here is the product, okay? So first things first, I remember when I bought this, there was no other sellers. It was like an out of stock thing. And I'll show you in Keepa when I bought it. And now first snapshot, there's at least 4 FBA sellers. So that lets me know supply has clearly shifted, which also can confirm why I haven't sold any, especially at the price point. What I have it listed as, I currently have it listed at $45 and it's selling in the buy box right now for $33.95, okay? Now I go into Keepa, and this is really where the heart of the data is. Okay, so here is the Keepa chart. okay? Now I probably bought it, if you follow my hover here, I bought it around this time when there was only one seller in stock and it was selling for $67.33. So this isn't going to be a tutorial on Keepa, but this bottom chart, the blue line is the number of current sellers. So if there's only one other seller, that's great. That tells me not much competition, not much stock. It's selling for $67. That's awesome. And then look what happens. The amount of sellers just drastically continues to increase all the way up to, so it went from one seller to 45 sellers. And the price went from $67 down to $35, which is like where it is today. So clearly something has changed, right? And what has changed is the amount of sellers has gone up drastically, which tells me that the amount of supply has increased drastically. So what does that do to the price? Naturally, the price decreases. So now I'm faced with the decision. What do I think is going to happen in the near future? And if I don't think there's anything that indicates that I'll be able to get the price I wanted or where I'm currently listed at, it's time to drop it down, okay? So looking at current day here, there's currently 45 sellers. At the peak, there was 49. So there's still a ton compared to the one when I bought it, right? Up here in this chart, it's selling like crazy, but it's selling like crazy at a $34.99. Okay, to me, this is obvious. There's a lot of sellers. There's a lot of stock. I should probably just sell it around that 35 bucks, break even, lose a couple bucks, whatever it is, and keep it moving because nothing is going to change quickly. Now, if the amount of sellers looked like it was starting to taper off, like they got a spike of sellers, spike of inventory, and now they're all selling out, well then I might say, you know what, let's hold out another week or two and see what happens. But because it's basically a stagnant number at 45 sellers, which is a huge number in general, I'm just gonna keep it moving and lower the price. Now, I do wanna show you to take this one step further. The amount of sellers, now this one's 45, so it's still a ton, doesn't tell you how much stock there is. Hypothetically, if they all each only have one piece of stock, and this item sells 200 times a month, well that means those 50 would be gone in a week and then I can charge a higher price. So to take it a step further, what you would do is click on the data tab and then click on offers. And what this does is show you every seller currently selling this product, and there's a stock column showing you how much they have in stock. And it also shows you next to it what price they're selling it for. So now I have the information from the Keepa chart. I know how many sellers there are. I know what the trend is with the number of sellers, what the trend is with the price, and how much stock all of these sellers have. Now I also want to calculate about how many times does this item sell a month. There's different ways to do that. I'll post a link here. I've made a video on that before, but for me, it's just crystal clear. There's still a ton of sellers. The price isn't great. It's not going down anytime soon, and I don't want to wait it out. So for me, I'm lowering the price, keeping it moving. Alrighty, so next example. This is an item that I have sold very sporadically. I still have 21 in stock. Now there was a certain point in time that I was doing really well with this item and I stocked up on it, and that's just the risk you take. You know eventually supply is probably going to come back, so no big deal. So this one's going to be a little bit different, and we will, I'm going to take you here into Inventory Lab so that we go to Keepa as well. At one point I was the only seller, and here it's going to pull up in a second. And so again, that initial snapshot I like of Inventory Lab, you can see here there's 4 people selling it, new FBM sellers, 4 plus selling it FBA sellers. So clearly a lot more than just me, right? And that again, to be expected. So what we're gonna do, and by the way, selling for between $48 and $51. And currently I'm priced at like $55, okay? So I'm not very far off. But I've been keeping an eye on this one. This one's a little different. So here we are in Keepa. I'm gonna show you when I bought it. So this dip here, I bought it when there was basically 2 or 3 sellers, and it was selling for $69.99, okay? Then visually, again, looking at the bottom chart, the amount of sellers just continued to climb. And as sellers climb, price goes down. Natural supply and demand, right? At the peak, there was 15 sellers. Then it went down to 10 sellers. And visually I can see it's been pretty consistent between 10 and 14 sellers, and there's currently 13 sellers, okay? And consistently recently it's been selling for $47 to $50, let's say, okay? So here visually there's 13 sellers. The price has been pretty consistent around 13 sellers, around 45 to 50 bucks. So what I could do if I wanted, I can again go into data, go into offers, and see how much stock my competition has. I see one has 2, 7, 7, 21, 3, 5, etc. So a decent bit. This product does sell a lot. So this one's a little interesting. I'm not very far off and nobody has such drastic stock. I could wait it out and say, you know what, let these people sell through and then let me command an extra 5 or 10 bucks. However, I now know from personal experience, I can go replenish this item all day long. There's no stock shortages anymore. And that's another tip, by the way. If you ever want to question the amount of stock currently available to the common seller, just do a quick Google search of this product and see top 3, 4 sites. Is it in stock or out of stock? Don't even worry about price. That'll give you another indicator of how accessible it is for everybody else, okay? And if it's out of stock in all these sites, it would also confirm, you know what? Let's let these people sell out. They're not gonna get more of it. I'll sell it for a premium. But again, for this example, because I'm only $5 off, for me, I think my mindset is this. Maybe wait another week or two, sell if they sell out, see if they sell out, and get it for the 5 or 10 bucks more. And if nothing happens, then let's just drop the price down, get it off our hands and keep it moving, because the amount of sellers is stagnant. The price is pretty stagnant. I have no indicator showing me that there's a supply shortage anymore. Let's get our money back and keep it moving. So that's the gist of it. And I do that for all of my products, especially the ones that have a higher volume of inventory in stock. I decide to lower the price more often than not, but again, it's just data. If I have reason to believe that other people are gonna have limited access to supply and they're gonna sell out of their stock relatively quickly, I'll wait it out and I'll try to command a premium, okay? I love when that happens, and it does happen from time to time. But I also don't become stubborn. If it looks like anybody can buy it, or there's so much stock available between all the current sellers' inventory, I don't wanna hold on to it for a month or 2 months in the name of $5 to $10 difference per item. You know, I'd rather get that cash back, fast nickels over slow dime mentality, and go deploy it on the millions of products that I can make good money on, instead of this taking up my capital, my mind space, this extra step. So this is something I do on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, and it's something that should be part of your regimen however frequently you see fit. And again, everybody that does scale of Amazon is gonna sell things for a loss, a profit, a low profit, a break even. No big deal, part of the game, all right? It is what it is, and it's just necessary. It really comes down to you understanding how to control your inventory and what works for your business. I'm Jonathan, this is Duke Does Amazon. We're on Instagram as well. If you have any questions, comments, topics, put them below. Have a great day, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being here.